Hello and welcome to my video where I'm going to show you how to add these twisted tendrils to your knitting. Twisted tendrils are basically just twisted strands of yarn and they make interesting embellishments. They're particularly good if you're doing this in wool and you're going to felt your project, or if you're using multicoloured yarn. I'm personally going to be using plain yarn today so you can see the method more clearly. Right, so as you can see, I've already done some stockinette stitch and I've already made some tendrils. I'm now just doing some knit stitches to start off the next row and then I'll show you the technique. Right, so do all of the normal steps of a knit stitch up until just after the point where you pull a loop of working yarn through to the front. Take this loop off the needle and enlarge it using your fingers. You can use a ruler to measure how much you enlarge this loop by, so you can do it the same every time, but I just use my fingers to estimate. Place your index finger at the end of the loop and twist the yarn clockwise until it's quite tight. In order to be able to make the tendrils consistent, you'll need to remember how many twists you do. I did 12 twists. Keeping the yarn quite taut, use your little finger to fold this twisted yarn in half and place the loop from your finger onto the left-hand needle. Keeping hold of the loop, you place the two halves of it next to each other like so, and then you twist it quickly anti-clockwise. This will twist the two halves together and create a tendril. The last step is then to do a K2 tog or knit two together decrease. So simply take your right hand needle up through the next two stitches and do all of the normal steps of a knit stitch to knit them both together into one stitch. And that's one twisted tendril completed. Now I'll just do a few more knit stitches and I'll show you that again. Right, so do most of the steps of a knit stitch up until just after the point where you bring the loop of working yarn from the back to the front. Take this loop off the needle and enlarge it with your fingers. Try and make this loop the same size as you made previously. Hold this loop at the end and twist it clockwise the same number of times as you did before. Then use your little finger to fold this yarn in half and transfer the loop to the left-hand needle. Keep holding the loop taut so the two halves of the loop are next to each other, and then give them a quick twist anti-clockwise. This will twist the two halves together. And lastly, do a K2 tog decrease. So take your right-hand needle up through the next two stitches and knit them together. And that's all there is to it. And again, so I do a few knit stitches. Then I do most of the steps of a knit stitch up until just after I pull the loop of working yarn to the front. Then I take that loop and twist it. Fold it in half. Transfer the loop at the end to the left-hand needle, twist the two halves together, and do a K2 tog decrease. And you just carry on like this until you've made as many tendrils as you want. And here is the result. And here you can see what the back looks like. And that's it, that's how you make twisted tendrils. I really hope you found this useful and thank you very much for watching.